Hey, it's Jared with State of Tech, and today I wanted to talk about my top 7 iPad accessories that I use all the time. Now, there are a lot of different things that you can get for your iPad to kind of extend and expand the functionality, and this list will maybe change just a little bit in the future when Apple adds the new software iOS 13 or the iPad OS that they're launching in the fall. But right now I wanted to talk about the things that I'm utilizing quite often, especially that I have been traveling with my family for the last month and a half, and so I've been utilizing these accessories a lot more because the standard go-to things that I would have in my home office or my office essentially aren't with me, and so I need that mobile aspect that the iPad brings, and so I wanted to share some of those things that I'm utilizing with you in the hopes that maybe they help you solve a problem that you're having or that you want a solution for. And so that's kind of what I like to do here on this channel. So I'm going to talk about some products that I'm using, and I'm going to put links down in the description below for you to check out. But let's start off with the one that I use most often, which is this Aukey USBC Hub. Now this USBC Hub is a USB-C port on this side, and then it has SD and micro SD card readers. It has 2 USB-A ports here, so it's already like adapting USB-C to USB-A because I still have a lot of things that are USB-A. And then on this side, it has a USB-C, so like a USB-C out, or you can run your charger in here and do pass-through charging from your charging source to your iPad. It has an HDMI port, so if you're connecting to a projector or a TV or something like that, you can go HDMI right out. And then it has another USB-A port here on the side. And I've ran all of these things at once. I've had it charging, I've had a microphone, I've had a hard drive plugged in, I've had an SD card in, and this little device does it all, and it does a really good job, and it's relatively lightweight. It has some rubber feet on it, so it sits nicely and kind of stays put even when you have some other stuff plugged into it. So this USB-C hub here from Aukey is something that I'm using all the time. Now, another device that I use quite often, I don't have it pictured here, but I've done a video on it before, and I'm showing you some photos of it now, is my WD 4 terabyte hard drive. This is a wireless hard drive. And now with the iPad, and this is something that's going to change in the future, even though I'll still like having this hard drive, we can't just plug a hard drive right into an iPad. I've done a video about this and some workarounds on it. I'll make sure to link to that video below and put it in the card above. But if you want to expand the storage of your iPad, it's really kind of tricky to do that currently. Now, with the new iPad OS that's coming out in the fall, you're going to be able to plug a hard drive into your iPad. But even then, like plugging a hard drive directly into your iPad uses up its port, or you're going to have to utilize a hub or something like this. And the WD 4 terabyte hard drive is wireless, which means you just have to have it within the vicinity of your iPad, and you can send and receive files from that hard drive wirelessly, which I think is a better solution. So I take that hard drive with me almost everywhere. The only reason that I don't have it with me right now on this trip is because I didn't want to pack a ton of stuff with me, and that hard drive was just an added thing. I have another hard drive that I utilize locally for my laptop, and I just didn't need that extra storage right now. But when I'm going iPad only, I always take that 4 gigabyte hard drive with me because it gives me a ton of additional storage. I can have all of the files that I need with me and easily accessible, and I don't have to try and figure out a way to store them on the iPad. And a lot of times, a lot of those files just flat out won't store on the iPad, so I have to use that external hard drive for that. So the third thing is my Rode USB microphone. The Rode NT USB microphone is something that I use for podcasting. I can plug the USB cable right into this and plug it right into this device, which goes right into my iPad, and I can record podcasts. If I'm doing like a video call or something, I get better audio quality out of this than using the iPad mics, and just an overall better audio experience. And so a lot of times when I'm doing a podcast, I'm actually recording straight into the iPad using the Ferrite app, and it recognizes the Rode microphone going right in, and I'm able to get just superior audio quality out of a microphone like this. I don't like like headset microphones and stuff like that because they're just bulky, and I'd rather utilize like good headphones for listening than I would have like some all-in-one unit or something like that. So I prefer using the Rode USB mic because I could just plug that USB right in here using the cable and then get really good audio quality out of that. So the fourth thing is actually these chargers here. These are from RAVPower, and a lot of different companies make these, but these have both a USB-A and a USB-C charging port on them, and they support the PD charging technology, which is higher wattage, which charges something like your iPad much faster. The iPad came with its own charger, but it isn't a charger that charges the iPad as fast as it could be charged. So utilizing a USB-C cable, I can go USB-C out of this charger right into the iPad and get a much faster charge than I would get out of even using the standard charger that the iPad comes with. Sometimes I will even use the charger for my MacBook Pro right into the iPad, but utilizing this, I get both the high wattage output here and also another port to charge something else, for example, like my phone or whatnot. It comes in both black and white. I've got the links down in the description below. These things are great because they're small. I mean, they are big, but they're small in comparison to taking my MacBook Pro charger with me just to get a fast charge into my iPad. Just to give you an example, I went from my iPad being completely dead to 100% charge in about an hour and a half with this, and usually it takes more than 2.5 hours to charge my iPad completely using the connector that it came with. So these things are absolutely awesome. So the next item, number 5, is my Sony noise canceling headphones. These are just absolutely fantastic. I've had the last couple of versions of them and I keep upgrading because I use them so much and I just love these headphones. So these noise canceling headphones come in this case, and they're over-ear style headphones. So they're, pretty good size headphones, and they cover your entire ear. And I love the noise canceling that they provide because they cancel out noise, but they also give you an adjustable level of ambience so you don't feel totally isolated from the world. Where these really work well is when you're on an airplane and you want it to cancel out that loud whine that the airplane makes, but you still want to hear a level of conversation or whatever's going on around you. The other feature that I absolutely love is when you're wearing them and listening to music and somebody comes up to you, you just put your hand over the ear cup here and it turns everything off, turns your music off, whatever you're doing, and you can actually hear the person. Now, it does seem a little weird because they walk up and you put your hand on your ear when most people would take the earphone off completely. But if you need to hear what's going on, you just put your hand over it. It pauses your music, it allows you to hear what's going on around you, and it's just an absolutely awesome feature. They also upgraded to USB-C, so using that same USB cable out of the RAVPower device, I can charge up my headphones extremely fast and have a good level of charge. These things last forever. I've been on this trip, like I said, I've been on this trip over 45 days now. And I just had to charge these last week, and I've used them not every day, but I've used them for at least an hour, I'd say on average every single day, and I just had to charge them up. And I listen to music nice and loud, and I'm always confused as to what direction you have to fold these to put them in here, but there we go. So nice little case that it comes with a little hanger here. I'll actually, like, when I'm traveling, I'll just hang this on my bag, and so I'll put one of the clip loops around it, and this is just kind of dangling. This strap really is strong, and I haven't had any issues there. It also has a little storage section on the back for maybe a little cable or something if you need it. But I can also fit a USB-C charging cable inside here, so I don't have to worry about it. You can also, if you don't want to go Bluetooth, it does have a cable you can plug in and then put in the headphone jack of your device. iPad still has a headphone jack, but who knows when they're going to take that away. But that's definitely one of the devices that I carry with me all the time. Now, in talking more about storage, The file hub / battery bank that I use, and I've talked about this in a previous video, so I'll make sure to link to that, and if you're interested, check it out. I did a video on how to connect any hard drive to your iPad, because obviously we can't just connect a hard drive into our iPad yet. So how do you connect your external hard drive or your solid state drive or whatever it is that you have to your iPad to get that expanded storage? Well, you can use what's called a file hub. And a file hub is essentially kind of like a router for your hard drive that will allow your iPad to connect to it in a similar way to that Western Digital, that WD 4 terabyte drive that I talked about earlier. But this allows you to connect a hard drive that you might already have. So maybe you don't want to go and buy a whole new hard drive like that Western Digital one. You just want to utilize a hard drive that you already have. Well, you can use the file hub to do that, to connect the hard drive. But the file hub's also a battery bank. So you can utilize that battery bank to top off your iPad if it's running a little low. It doesn't have enough of a battery to like fully charge your iPad from dead, but it has enough battery to give your iPad a good half charge and get you through the rest of the day. With the added benefit of the file hub allowing you to connect to a hard drive and give you access to those files. The file hub also has an SD card reader in the side of it, which makes it really nice for importing content to utilize on your iPad, for example, from your camera. Or if you're just wanting to back up your camera and not store it on your iPad, you can use the file hub, connect your hard drive to it, and then copy the files off of that SD card onto the hard drive so that you have a good backup going. And I highly recommend always backing up your stuff. So the file hub is kind of a must-have for me because it solves a couple of problems. It solves the problem of needing to keep my stuff backed up, and then it solves the problem of needing to have maybe a little bit of extra battery to boost my iPad when it starts running low and I don't have the ability to plug in one of these AC adapters. So number 7 is, of course, my Think Tank Vision bag, and I just did a video about that bag over on the Ditch Auto channel, so I'm not going to go into much detail on the bag here, but the Think Tank Vision bag is a messenger style bag that's for cameras and your gear, and so I utilize that to carry my iPad, a camera. I could put my microphone and one of my hard drives in it. The bag is just very flexible, and I can utilize that to carry my gear for whatever situation. They have it in a 15-inch and a 13-inch bag, and I believe they also have an 11-inch bag. I have both the 15 and the 13-inch bag because the 15-inch one is big enough for my MacBook Pro and my iPad and a good amount of camera gear and pretty much everything that you see here, whereas the smaller one is good if I just want to take my iPad. I don't have a 13-inch laptop, but the 13-inch bag is good enough for the iPad, for the microphone, for a camera, for my headphones, and so maybe a little bit of a lighter situation, but still having all of my gear with me whenever I need it. So other accessories that I have that didn't really make this list because they're more common is the Apple Pencil. Now, I had the previous version of the Apple Pencil and didn't use it much, but I utilize this Apple Pencil a lot. This newer version of the Apple Pencil because it is so much faster and feels much more like writing than the previous version of the Apple Pencil. Plus it charges much easier, so it's not dead all the time. The other one you had to stick in the port, and I just hated having to do that. So this one's always charged because it's always on my iPad. I also always utilize the keyboard case because the keyboard case basically turns this into a small laptop, and when Apple updates the software to the new iPad OS, it's going to feel even more like a laptop, and I'll be using my iPad even more. Lastly is the data plan that I use on my iPad. I talked about this in another video here on State of Tech, and so you'll definitely want to check out that video. The data plan that I'm using on my iPad, if I'm not using any data, it doesn't cost me any money. I'm only paying for the data that I use, and so on those months where you don't utilize any data on your iPad, you're not paying much. You're not actually paying anything except for maybe just a little tiny bit of data for those few times that you opened up your iPad. If you're like me, most of the time you're connected to Wi-Fi anyways. So that's going to do it for this video. What are your favorite iPad accessories? Share those with me down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. If there's anything that you liked that you saw here Like I said, the links are in the description below, so you can click on those and check those out. Clicking on those links helps support our channel, and they will take you to Amazon, with the exception of the Think Tank bag. That will take you over to Think Tank's website, so you can check out all of their fantastic bags and accessories that they have. So that's going to do it for this video. If you want more videos like this, click that subscribe button. Help us out there by keeping that subscribe number going up. It helps keep me motivated, and it also helps keep our channel going. So make sure to click that, including the links down in the description below. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you back in the next one here on State of Tech. Take care.